Greetings, everybody. This is Brian, aka Newbie Modder, coming to you with my entry to an answer to the Paul Knapp challenge. Pretty cool concept. Enjoy doing it. Just want to thank, before I get started, I want to thank Jeff over at Skunkworks for sending me a couple of boxes to work on. Thanks, Jeff. And then I'd like to acknowledge the rest of the group. It's a list of, the usual suspects. Everyone knows them for their entries so far. I think they're just fantastic, absolutely stunning. Jeff at Skunkworks, Adam over at G.I. Joe, The Lost Chronicles, Cody, Poplocks 4583, the father-son tag team of Pat and Jay over at Elite Action Joe's, Peter at Skull Reviews, and then one that dropped the other day. I saw a video for, I'm sure you guys did too, Spider Monkey Films. Seems to me like a very intriguing entry. A little Ark of the Covenant, Pandora's box looking thing. So I'm anxious to see see that in its entirety. That looks pretty cool. Nice job. As I dropped the video, it was short the other day on YouTube. So pretty much anyone who saw it knows that it's a Super Joe crate, equipment crate. Wasn't originally what I planned to do when I first heard about it, and when I got the boxes, I figured I was going to do my first idea was to do one for Mike Power, some type of recharging station lab that he could work on or work with, repair himself. But then Adam had his. I saw his. He dropped his first, I think, with his mobile communications array, and then a couple days later Jeff dropped his crate, and he also had a computer on his or lab or console, and so I figured I'd better change pace. So then I figured I was going to do a cryptid one, Bigfoot or whatever, but then a couple days later Elite Action Joe's dropped one of theirs, and I'm not sure if it was Pat or Jay or whoever did it, but theirs was a cryptid orientated one, so I figured, well, let's go in a different direction. So I went with the Super Joes, who I don't do enough with, so I figured they deserve something. So that's pretty much how it came about that. So here it is. Pretty standard, pretty basic. As you can tell, it's obviously a play on the original Super Joe Foot Locker from the 70s. That was the motivation for it. Try to keep it true to form with the color, the orange. Went with the black handles and the black, the locks, similar to the ones on the original. Decals I was pretty minimal with. I put a couple of the circle logos on there. I did some reflector tape for some highlights on the front and by the handles. I'm not a great decaler. I do enough for me, for what I need. So I think it looks all right. It's pretty clean. And then for the top to cover that Sigma 6 etching, I made a plate out of styrene, painted it and decaled it, and it looks pretty good. I think I'm pretty happy with it. So like I said, it's pretty nice and clean. For the inside, I used like foam padding for the bottom. I made a couple of elastic bands to hold some type of long weapon on there. I don't know if you can see that from the pictures. And then I did this cutout. You might wonder what that is. On some like glossy cardstock, I printed out circuit diagram, some kind. And looking back at the original decal on the top of the original Foot Locker, it's a similar pattern. So I figured that'd be a nice little crossover. So that's why that's there. I think it adds a nice little something to it. So that's pretty much it. But then I was kind of thinking, I had a bit of a problem if I use this box or if I send it back to Paul Knapp. I don't have any weapons for my Super Joes. I don't know if you guys have the same problems, if you guys have Super Joe teams. I know Jeff does. I'm not going to put in there like a hunting rifle or some type of carbine. That's just not Super Joe-esque. I know Cotswold has these, space type guns. I don't really like them. I mean, they're too like Flash Gordon-y, and also I'm not going to pay $13, $15 for a 2-inch piece of plastic. It seems kind of ridiculous. But there are a couple pistols on there that I might consider. Again, they're like $5 a piece. But Cotswold, love them, but sometimes the prices is just, I have a hard time pulling the trigger on that. So what I did is I went back to 3D Super Joe's website. I don't know if you guys use that, or it's a link on there from 3D Joe's, great website. And I started looking at like their equipment and what they had back then, and they were clunky packs. Like there's a aqua laser and whatever else they had, sonic cannon or a bazooka. So I said, all right, well, that's pretty much what I'm going to do. I'll look at that and I'll see what I have. So for my limited supply of leftover stuff from lots that I purchased, I had a cannon, or not a cannon, a bazooka. So I had that, and I used one of the Sonic Rock Blaster, an extra power pack, so I gave that a paint job. And then I picked up for real cheap, like about $5, this Max Steel backpack. So I gave those all a quick paint job, pretty rough. Added a couple highlights, a couple decals, added a couple like jewels that I had laying around for like power stones or power gems. Put those on there. So that's what I have for my Super Joes. I kind of rush those. I may go back and revisit those, clean those up a little bit, maybe change them. But those I'm going to keep. I'm not going to send those on. And I don't know. They look okay. I mean, they'll do the job for now until I come up with some other ideas. I got a couple ideas for weapons for the Super Joes that I want to do. So that's pretty much it. I did also make a little crate to go inside the big box if I send it to Paul Knapp. It was a clear box I picked up at Michael's, which if you guys are at Michael's by you, they're like, it's a pack of 3 or 4 of these little clear crates. They're cheap. It was like $2. Which, they're ideal 1/6 size. And I know Cotswold has these little decal packages for those crates. I think they have one for like the Adventure Team. They have one for Super Joe. They have one for Mike Power. I think they have one for the Intruders. So they're nice. It's good standard. It's something different. Add to your collection. So that's pretty much it. I hope you guys liked it. It was fun doing it. Again, I want to thank you guys for tuning in, commenting, and liking. I have 21 loyal followers on this channel, so I appreciate it. I didn't do too much this summer. I didn't do any shoots, any stories. I got a couple kids in high school who are pretty involved in their sports, so that keeps us busy. But that's over. To be back to school. So I plan on doing a few things, a couple storylines. What I plan to do, I plan to continue to do stories with the Adventure Team versus their anti-Joe antagonists, the Brotherhood of the Scar, which they pop up occasionally in some of my stories. It's a fun time doing that. I plan to do a short storyline on my muscle body, the only one I have, the one I brought back to life. Did a video on that, so I have a whole storyline based on him, which I think will be pretty good. I also plan to do quite a few more with using the Super Joe team themselves. I'd really like. I enjoy them. They're different, but fun. Like I said, I think there should be some good stories there, and then I plan to do a couple, maybe a small 3-set story regarding Bigfoot, or some type of cryptid thing. It might tie into the other ones, but again, these are all going to be the mini missions. I know Adam mentioned after he finished his big one, it takes a lot to do these stories if like 8 minutes long or longer, especially me with the green screen. That's all I do. it takes a long process. So I'm trying to keep them between 3 to 4 minutes at the most. So that's that. That's where we are. You know, if you got any comments, if you want, like if you want, dislike if you want, makes no difference to me because it's going to happen anyways. But thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll stay in touch and keep up the good work. Thanks.